Good evening, morning, night, or afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, or welcome back if you are literally just tuning in from the previous match, because we actually haven't been offline for very long, to be honest with you. We have just come out of the previous one. This is a new one, however, between two teams here on the Survivor side. We're going to be referring to them as Z or Z, just for simplicity's sake. Rudley, Mino, Abrikos, and Salahadin. Versus Anx, which is Chekware, Clark, Enk, and, well, I'm going to call him Joji, because I know he is actually Joji. Rather not call him Surprised Face Guy. Gonna be Dark Carnival. We are going to be going live. Spitter, Jockey, Charger, and a Smoker to set us off in this first attack in this safe room choke point. Gonna have to see how they play this here. It's all gonna come down to the Spitter, really. Charger is moving in from the billboard. That's gonna be a decent charge spit combination off the back of the Smoker. And that is actually very good damage, to be honest. The Smoker did very good to set up the Charger there. That is exactly what you're gonna hope for. That kind of attack location, it's very difficult to do that level of damage there. Very, very difficult indeed. So well played to Anx to have managed to inflict that inflicted that level of damage. And a triple boom as well. That's going to be a triple boom from the truck. That's going to be the Jockey moving in. He will be dead stopped, however. That's going to be the Charger moving in. He can't connect with the Survivors, though, thanks to the safety cone, which is actually quite ironic that a safety cone saved the Survivors there. That is going to be the Survivors moving forward. A large amount of damage inflicted onto Ellis, though. Otherwise, the Survivors are in decent health. They are going to move forward. That is going to be a tank spawning up in the hands of, as I know him, Joji. Who's going to be making his way onto the bus. That's going to be a Smoker behind the Survivors. Hunter is going to get Ellis in the back. That's going to be some rocks attempted to be thrown. Nothing landed just yet. That rock is precarious, though. It lands onto Ellis. That's going to be a successful rock from the tank, of whom is going to continue to throw these rocks from the distance on this truck here. That rock, I mean, as I watched it travel, I thought, watch out for that dude. That's going to land, and as it turns out, it landed. So he had to be very careful there. And he unfortunately was not careful enough. It's going to be a Charger, Jockey, and a Hunter in the hands of Anx, of whom are moving in. That's going to be the Charger moving for Nick on the van. The rock is precarious, but it doesn't land this time. Charger is looking for scratches. He can't land, and the tank has taken just around about 300 damage, give or take. Just hiding at the bushes at the moment is the tank in the hands of Joji. Doing some overhand rocks, trying to connect with Rochelle there, but had no luck in doing so. Long tanks are going to be a very common theme in this. There is going to be a separation smoker, a one-person boom. The rock actually doesn't travel further than the bus, though. That's going to be the Hunter skeeted mid-air as well. One rock landed so far. Another rock is going to be skeeted, so Joji's tank at the moment it has fallen below 5,500 HP. And he is going to need to move closer to the survivors. If he is to maintain line of sight, then again, he's on 95% of pass number 1. So he is in a very, very good position here. And the damage that they have inflicted onto Ellis is nothing to ignore. That's a good jockey onto Nick, landing for quite some time. The rock doesn't land, though, unfortunately for the tank. That would have been very, very successful had the rock landed. He is continuing to throw these rocks, though. The survivors are aware of them, and they are aware as well, of course, that going back to the safe room means they can replenish their ammunition. Tank is being pressured, but he is kind of maintaining distance pretty well, actually. That's going to be a separation smoker, followed by an interception charger. Jockey is going to try to get an interception onto Rochelle there. The rocks are traveling in, but again, actually, no, he did land a rock, actually. Pardon me, he did land a rock because he's back to 100%. That's, wow. He is surrounded, though, and, well, being surrounded here is exactly what you want to do to the tank. He's looking for punches. He punches Rochelle all the way down the hill there. That's going to be some fall damage. Going to look for some more punches. Another punch onto Coach. Rock is not going to land. The boomer is going to be shut down. That's going to be a rock, hopefully following onto Coach, which results in an in-cap, followed by a charge onto Rochelle. Nothing much more can follow from it, but the damage that has been inflicted by Anx has been phenomenal here.
This shit ain't pretty.
2 punches, 3 rocks. Very well played by the tank. That's going to be a jockey spitter and a charger to accompany the one-person. Jockey is going to get dead stopped and shut down, though. Charger is moving in, but again, he can't make much happen with it. Neither can the Spit. The Spit can't really delay the survivors. All of the survivors as well, they are above 40 HP. And as you may or may not be aware, if you fall below 40 HP, you do become slow. So none of them are at the fate, are at that fate. That's going to be a boom from below at the alarm car. Oh no, not on the alarm car, excuse me. That one is not the alarm car, but it is going to be a boom onto 2 survivors. Smoker is below the survivors as well, looking for some separation. There is a spitter, smoker, and a jockey. Smoker looks for the separation. The witch is also below the survivors as well. They're not looking to go for her just yet, though. They're keeping the witch triggered. Will they trigger her enough to go for the survivors, though? Not looking likely. The survivors are opting not to go for the witch. That's going to be a hunt-spit combination for a decent amount of time, followed by scratches as well from the hunter. The damage is significant. Charger is moving in for scratches as well. Gets some stumbles, gets some scratches, and wow, that is some pretty darn good damage inflicted by Team Anx there, of whom are finding, well, they're finding a lot of difficulty here, let's say, in moving further forward. Ellis is actually very close to being in-capped, and Rochelle is close to the same fate as well. Boomer from behind the rock onto 1 survivor by Vomits. That's an in-cap. That's scratches onto Nick, followed by a jockey into the Spit. That's going to be another in-cap. That's going to be 3 people in-capped. The Smoker is just simply being a nuisance, just dodging the shots and just slowing down the Survivor there. The last remaining Survivor being Coach. Gets the smoke onto Coach, but he will clear himself. And Coach is going to abandon the remainder of his teammates and go by his lonesome self. He has a Hunter to deal with and a Jockey. He skeets the Hunter, but the Jockey lands nicely skeeted on the Hunter though, regardless. Abricos, or however the name is said, did very well there to skeet that Hunter, despite the fact that it was a 1 versus 2 situation. 388 points on the board for Team Z, or Team Z. They are going to now be playing their infected round. Anx, on the other hand, will be playing their survivor round, leading into the second half of the first chapter of this Dark Carnival installment. One of my favorite things about this map, by the way, completely, it's not really off topic, but I just love the error sign on that fence there on Dark Carnival. That's something that's on Dark Carnival map 1 on the error servers. I just love the kind of the Christmas decoration themed error lighting. That's just something I've always really liked about the error servers. I don't know why. I just thought I'd bring that up for some reason. Just noticed it and thought it looked pretty cool. But yes, we are going to have to see now how this tank fight goes and whether or not it goes in favor of Z or Z. Rudley, Mino, Abricos, and Salahadin. It's going to be a shutdown on the Smoker. Well, I mean a shutdown onto 2 special infected actually. A Spitter and a Jockey are all that remain for the special infected. And what they can do with this setup is pretty darn limited. Boomer, Jockey, and a Spitter is going to be up, followed by a Charger. Charger from behind the truck is looking for he's looking for the spawn. Can he get it though? The Boomer can get the spawn. The Charger, on the other hand, is unable to.
Reloading.
And unfortunately, that means that the Spitter chooses against attacking, and they have not yet used the Spitter. They now have a tank as well, of course. This is the tank. You know, this is the tank fight. In the hands of Mino or Mino. That's going to be a good scratch charge, followed by Spit combination, followed by Rock, potentially. Oh, the Rock couldn't quite land there. That's so unfortunate, but regardless, wow. The damage which Nick has just taken there is absolutely brutal. The momentum was very much in favor of Anx until the unfortunate incident of the scratch charge spit combination. Tank is going to continue to throw these rocks from the distance. Boomer from behind onto 1 survivor. That 1 survivor being Charger is going to follow from the Boomer, but gets himself focus fired by all of the Uzis. That's going to be a separation Smoker, but only as far as Coach, because Coach is aware of it. The rocks are continuing to trickle in, but Coach is playing correctly anyway. He is being aggressive with the tank, but the remaining survivors need to be aggressive as well. Playing this tank aggressively is the correct decision to do here. And already, as a result of that aggression, he has taken 2,000 damage. Boomer from behind gets popped before he can land the vomit on anybody. The rock is trickling in. It doesn't hit, and neither does the Hunter. Tank is trying to get some curve rocks. He's being surrounded, though. Can't get the punch either. Well, unfortunately for the tank, he is going to fall down here. Not the greatest result in the world for the tank. Meanwhile, if you are the Anx team, then you are in a very, very good position. The most unfortunate thing they've had to deal with is the charge spit combination. Otherwise, they're in very good HP. And if they can maintain this kind of health bonus, then they could be looking at a very big lead here. Charger from behind, can't make the connection though. Neither can the Smoker because they shot him down so quickly before the tongue can even really leave his mouth, to be honest. Only a Spitter remains, and the Spitter is going to get a respawn.
Don't shoot that car.
Survivors will have no difficulty moving forward here. They are going to trigger the Witch as well because they want those extra distance points, they want those extra bonus points. The Witch is going to be climbing up the wall here. They need to focus fire her. They do indeed focus fire her very well, very quickly, and that is therefore going to award them an additional 25 points for the killing of the Witch. The alarm car was triggered. Charger gets a good separation charge though, followed by a spit combination. That's going to be good damage actually. That was overall a decent attack. Jockey is moving for Nick, but the dead stops are good though, and the dead stops are going to stop him from essentially being separated from his team. There is a Smoker in the hands of Z, but they are not going to use it to separate the survivors. They are instead going to save the Smoker for the remainder of the attack. Charger, Smoker, Spitter, and a Hunter is the setup that we have for this cliff choke point. Hunter is behind the survivors, pouncing around, as is the Spitter, but the Spitter, of course, is not pouncing around because that is not possible. A pouncing Spitter would be kind of funny, though. Survivors are going to play patiently here, and they are going to go to the police car and clear some common infected before they now begin progressing further forward. They do have to worry about this Charger, though. If the Charger does get somebody down this hill, they are instantly in-capped, regardless of how much HP they had before they got charged. Hunter is pouncing around behind, but gets himself shut down. Charger can't find his spawn here. Smoker tries to get some separation, but again, he is shut down with ease. Charger could be looking for a rocket charge. He does go for Rochelle, but he can't land the connection onto her. And unfortunately for him, he finds himself at the makeshift restroom there, ahead by the bushes, and the survivors are aware of his positioning as well. Hunter, Charger, Jockey, Tricap with a Spitter for this hill choke point. Let's just see what they can make happen with it. Hunter is going to be pouncing in. He gets a damage pounce, a 24 damage pounce as well. Jockey will be dead stopped and cleared. However, that was a very good damage pounce inflicted by Team Z, or Team ZZZ specifically. That is going to be a lonesome Charger, all by his lonesome self. He is the only remaining special infected to stop these survivors getting into the safe. Smoker is there to assist him behind the Humvee. Survivors will make it into the safe room though, comfortably as well, because nobody was in-capped, nobody is on temporary HP, and therefore they have awarded themselves 1,128 points, including all the bonuses, including the Witch bonus points, which Team Z did not get. Team Z, or Team Z on the other hand, are on 388 points. Leading into the second chapter of Dark Carnival. And again, as we can see, the detail that I like again, the error message is also on the fence here. So just a small, tinsy little detail that I like. As always, we are going to see a roof attack in this safe room choke point. It is very, very rare that you see people not attack on this roof. Essentially, pretty much 10 out of 10 times people will attack on this roof on the on this first safe room. I will make sure I have the spec card activated. So as we have it, the points are definitely very, very much in favor of Anks, and Anks actually do possess a very strong roster as well. Definitely a very strong roster indeed. I do know that is Joji. I also do know that Checkware is aka Frey, who is also a mechanically gifted player from Česká republika. That's going to be a good bait by the survivors. That means all of the special infected, their positions are given away. They're going to try to shut down the boomer without any proxy boom. They can't avoid it. They have to get the boom onto Nick at least. And the special infected are going to move in regardless. That's going to be some damage at least. Not really much at all. But, I mean, it's the least they could have expected, really. So some damage has trickled in for Team Z or Team Z. And in case you are just tuning in, we do have a roster of Joji, Enk, Checkware, and Clark in the Anks team, and in ZZZ or ZZZ, it's going to be Salahuddin, Abrikos, Mino, and Rudley, or Rudley, however you want to say it. That's going to be a Welty style hunter pouncing around on the skybox. Going to be moving in. Can't land the connection, unfortunately, though. The charger is going to be charging from the rooftop, but again, can't make a connection. A message. Yeah, just 1 second. Gonna wreck something with this. Okay, right. So the survivors are going to be making their way out into the open area here with a boomer, spitter, charger, and a smoker to contend with. Let's see how they contend with it. Smoker in the back can't really make much happen. Neither can the boomer, actually. The boomer does get shut down. Charger moves in, can't connect with anybody. The tongue is cut by the axe, though, of Coach. And, well, simply put, that is proficient gameplay by Team Anks, who are going to make their way further forward. And I got a Steam message that there is also a tank bonus, so thank you very much for the reminder. Yeah, there are a few details that here and there I do tend to forget, because I do swap between configs here and there, and sometimes I forget. Sometimes I even forget which one I'm on, to be honest. Boomer goes for a rocket boom, but can't make anything happen. Neither can the hunter because of a good skeet by Checkware. That is going to be a jockey and a spitter by themselves. There is a witch to deal with. There is also a propane canister, which they have to use on this witch. Depending on whether, of course, they use it on the witch. They're going to move up immediately. Oh, what a crown, though, by Checkware again. Very good crown by the man from Česká republika, showing himself to be, so far, the MVP of Team Anks. Charger going from behind. He's going to get focus fired into oblivion, though. There is also going to be a smoker from behind, but he's not going to look for the survivors. He's going to look for a respawn. That is going to be a tank spawning in the hands of Salahuddin, who is going to look to reposition. But unfortunately here, in order to reposition, you kind of have to run in front of the survivors. Like, you have to give away your position. Fortunately for him, though, he only took 75 damage there. So, not the worst result in the world for the tank. Smoker, jockey, and a hunter is what remains for the special infected. Leading into this supporting setup, let's just see what the tank elects to do here. He is on 15% of pass number 1. And he is choosing to move in with his setup. 5% of pass number 1. Smoker goes first, tries to set up the first punch for the tank, but can't do it. Good skeet as well, both onto the hunter and onto the rock. The jockey is going to move in, but again, so as we have it, to be honest, that was an absolutely perfect shutdown onto pretty much everything. The tank is still on 4,000 plus HP, but he has to commit, though. He's on pass number 2. He can't land a punch just yet. Finally lands a punch, but that's it. That's all she wrote. The boomer is not going to land a boom, and the smoker is not going to get very much. Charger is probably going to attack here for some consolidation. Well, actually, no, he won't even. Whew. The tank, unfortunately, only got 1 punch in total. Which, yeah, as I was so kindly reminded, it does award an additional 100 points. So one punch is all the tank landed. That's so unfortunate for Team Z or Team Z. But onwards and upwards for them. That's going to be a jockey landing. Charger cannot land, however. That's going to be Nick moving in and out of the spit for a little bit. That's going to be some damage, but the health bonus of the current survivor side, it's phenomenal. It's very, very good. And providing, of course, the final attack they have to contend with is not too lethal. If they make it into the safe room here, we could be looking at a very, very one-sided affair in terms of the points. So we're going to need to see a very good attack coming out of Team Z at the moment. Boomer onto one survivor. Charger is shut down. That's not a good start, though. The jockey is essentially skeeted there. Even with the double boom, it's not nearly enough to set up anything for the survivors, for the infected, excuse me. Survivors, however, speaking of them, they are going to make it into the safe room here, putting themselves at 2,649 points. We are going to be leading into the second half of the second chapter here on Dark Carnival, but so far, it's not looking good. Not looking good for Team Z or Team Z. It's always confusing for me as a Brit, so I think I'm going to stick with Z. I'm going to go against my native tongue, because we do say Z, we don't say Z, but I am going to go against my native tongue, and I am going to call them Team Z for simplicity. Team Angst, though, they are in a very good position here. Let's just hope for their sake, of course, that they can maintain this level of consistency, because Left 4 Dead 2 is so prominently revolvent around consistency. And if you lose consistency, then you can lose the lead very easily. Charger, Smoker, Jockey, and a Boomer. Boomer gets a proxy boom onto 3 survivors, but they are in the safe room, though. So in terms of concern, well, they're not going to be too concerned about it, to be honest. Team Z, they are going to clear the common infected with relative ease, but of course they are giving the special infected time for another setup. Out the survivors move. That's going to be a Charger scratching the smoked victim, followed by a charge. That's going to be significant damage. That's also going to be some pills forgotten by Rochelle there, which, I mean, yeah, she probably would want to go back for those, if I'm honest.
Reloading.
Like, maybe I shouldn't do this, but
signs are making me hungry.
It appears that their pills are in the safe room. I prefer fair games, to be honest with you. So I just thought I would just alert them of their mistake there. So that is going to open the doors to another attack, though. That's going to be a dead stop on the Hunter, of whom's going to move in with the jockey.
Reloading.
Not really much can happen from it, but of course that did give them a window of opportunity for another attack there.
Reloading.
And therefore they do get their pills eventually. That is going to be a lot of damage coming onto the board, though. So this could even be a third attack in the same location. I mean, to be honest, it probably is going to be. That is the jockey looking to move in. First and foremost, he's kind of pouncing around, just being a nuisance. They are chasing him, though. He's on 12 HP exactly. Smoker from behind onto Ellis, gets shut down. The Charger gets a scratch, but he can't get much more to follow. Good bunny hops from the Charger, though, and he does get a scratch as a result. So 2 scratches from the Charger is about as much damage as they could have inflicted. Nonetheless, good damage so far inflicted by Angst onto Team Z, of whom are going to make it into the warehouse here. This kind of storage warehouse unit. Going to be contending with a Smoker, Jockey, Boomer, and a Hunter. And they have just this moment reached 25% of the map. There is a pre-spawned Hunter above the survivors, a Boom onto 1 survivor. Smoke gonna go onto Ellis, excuse me. That's gonna be a Jockey onto the Boomed victim. And the common infected are doing so much damage to him as well. Oh, the damage is lethal. That's gonna be so much damage inflicted onto, well, I believe it's Abricos. I'm not entirely sure, but there we have it. That is going to be prominent damage inflicted onto Poach there. Special thanks to, of course, the common infected, because he was boomed. And, well, when you're boomed, the common infected target you specifically. So, you know, special thanks to them. Special credit. Hunter, Boomer, Spitter, and a Charger is what Team Angst have to work with leading into this Witch slash ladder choke point. The Witch is slightly aggravated here. There's going to be a delay spit, which is actually going to connect with Coach there, so he's going to be all the way down to a temporary HP there. Unfortunately for him, he's going to put out a sad face there, which if I was him, I would be sad face too. They are going to try to bait the special infected. They're going to look to try to get the Witch, but they are unable to do so. The Witch is actually, well, she's... oh my goodness, a lot is happening. That's going to be a quad boom. The Witch finally does die, but Coach is actually nearly dead as well. They do have a Charger remaining. The Charger needs to go a lot quicker than this. He can't though. He gets a separation charge. Well shut down though by the survivors. That was so close to being a good separation charge there. Hunter going for the wall kick there, but he can't land anything. That is a jockey in the back going for Nick, and well, that was a 1v1 between the jockey and Nick for quite some time there. But that is eventually going to be the end of it, and the survivors will make their way forward. They are going to make their way down the staircase here. Well, the staircase slash carnival slide, or water slide, I suppose it probably would be. Tank is going to spawn 4 Anks. That's going to be a boom onto 1 survivor. That could be all they need to send the tank in, actually. Let's just see what they choose to do. Then again, the jockey is also moving in. The jockey moves in for Nick and lands for a little bit of time. To be honest, yeah, the tank was probably a little bit too far away for the boom to be viable to use. Therefore, he is instead going to look to punch these walls down, because why not? Smoker and the Charger is going to be accompanied in 1 second with a Boomer. Tank is going to be in the hands of Enk, of whom is just assessing his options. He's going to choose to go in now. He's going to look for the first pin on Ellis. With the help of the Smoker, he does do so. That's a good double boom as well. Could be an in-cap onto Ellis. Ellis does take his pain pill, so it won't be an in-cap onto him. Charger's going to move in. Good double punch, though. Not another double punch, but it's going to be several punches inflicted across the board. A missed punch onto Nick, but the HP of the tank is very high. He needs to stop missing these punches, though. He is going to die pretty soon. Unfortunately, he misses around about 3 punches there. Even though he landed 9 punches, unfortunately, he could not get the wipe there, which is largely due to the missed punches. That's going to be the survivors, however, left in a very precarious and very unideal situation.
Yeah.
All 4 of these survivors need pain pills, and do you know what? They only have 1 pair. So, in terms of benefits, they don't really have many right now. Not many in their favor whatsoever. They have 1 set of pain pills and 4 people need them. They also have a Charger, Hunter, Boomer, and a Jockey to contend with. Double charge in the disc. Hunter and Jockey going for the interceptions. Hunter lands, Jockey lands. That is going to simply be what you would call a wipe. Ladies and gentlemen, here at the beginning of the crescendo, that is going to be a wipe. The tank was killed, mind you, so they do get awarded an additional 100 points for the killing of the tank. But that is about all she wrote there. That was a very good tri-cap committed by Team Anks, and Team Z are very much behind right now. 2,649 points in the hands of Anks versus their opposition currently trailing at 885 points.
Well,
Quadruple digits versus triple digits as we speak. leading into this. Frankly, this is a game-changing map. Especially considering the crescendo. The crescendo of this map is so important, and it is going to prove to be so important, especially for Team Z. Because well, they are behind, and they do need crescendos, they need good tanks, they need good tri-caps, they need good charge spit combination. I was going to say good quad caps, but then I realized we're not on that config. So as you can see, guys, sometimes I do forget what config I'm on. Nonetheless, it is quite self-explanatory because this is the EazyOne tournament after all. Survivors will make their way out onto the ramp / walkway here. Charger, Smoker, Spitter, and a Jockey to contend with. Let's just see what they can make happen with this charge spit combination. Team Z, they're choosing to send the charger from behind. Smoker can't land the smoke though. Jockey can't do anything either. Charger is moving from behind, looks for the connection. I saw what he tried to do there, but unfortunately it was to no avail. Survivors will have no difficulty progressing further forward here. They're going to make their way through the tunnel of love. They're going to be clearing these common infected. They also have a witch, but, well, again, another crown by Checkware. He is so far proving to be the MVP of Anks. Of course, that could change, but so far my opinion remains unchanged that he is the MVP. That's a boom onto one survivor, that being Ellis. That's a good jockey in the room. That's a smoker trying to get some separation, but he's dodged twice. And then he's going to be headshotted by the very capable Uzi Fire of Coach, aka Joji. Survivors are currently in the maintenance room here, and they're going to be looking to, well, they're going to be looking to cover more ground here. Of course, the more the merrier. They are nearly at 3,000 points, which is a good position for them to be in. That's going to be the Spitter looking to get rid of the life of said Spitter because, well, tank fight is pretty soon, and you don't really want Spitters in tank fights. Hunter, Boomer, and a Jockey, on the other hand, is going to be what the Special Infected have. Boomer is positioned behind the Survivors in preparation for them running back, but at this rate, the Survivors may actually have to drop to trigger the tank. Just gonna have to see how the scenario plays out here. They know what they want to do, the Survivors, but they can't. Rochelle goes down first. Gets herself charged, but cleared quite quickly. It's going to be a stumble in the common infected. Hunter is pre-spawned, looking to get the pin on top, but he can't quite get it. That would have been devastating if he did land it. I'm not sure what Coach is doing there. He's just slicing his katana around at the hole there. So yeah, there we have it, the tank is spawning. The reason the Boomer was positioned so far behind to begin with was because they thought the tank was going to spawn sooner than this. The tank is going to look for some curve rocks to begin with. Tank being in the hands of Abricos, who is continuing to curve them rocks, but none of them have landed just yet. Smoker is looking to try to set something up for the tank, but he can't do so. That is a good curve rock, but well played by Rochelle to shut down the rock. Smoker tries to set something up, but again, can't have any luck. Hunter is going to look to try to set something up as well. Curve rock is unsuccessful. Boom onto one survivor. Separation, Smoker. Interception punch is unsuccessful though. That's going to be a Hunter moving in as well. Tank is looking to spread the damage. That's the best he can hope for here. At half HP, that's going to be some good double punches. That could be 2 in caps. He misses some punches though. He's continuing to miss the punches, and therefore he is going to die again without the in cap. I'm not sure what's happening with these punches here.
Get up!
We saw in the previous chapter, and we saw in this chapter as well, some really strange missed punches, which I'm unsure what's happening there, to be honest with you. But there we have it. There is a Boomer and a Spitter in the hands of Team Z. Boomer chooses to move in, but gets dead stopped and shut down. Therefore, no boom for Team Z. They have a Spitter, Hunter, and Smoker as well to utilize. I presume they're going to save the smoker because the smoker is very useful in this crescendo here. Survivors have just about, well, they're just nearly going to surpass 3,000 points here. Smoker from above, 24 damage pellets followed by a spit onto Coach. There's going to be a pull into the spit as well. Jockey is going to try to get somebody into the spit as well, but he can't do it. But a 24 damage pounce followed by a spit combination. That is certainly something that they would hope for. Team Z, especially considering the current position they are in. They do have a crescendo to get through though, and this is most certainly one of the most infamous crescendos in all of Left 4 Dead 2. It's so unforgiving. And they have a charger as well, speaking of infamous and unforgiving. Hunter is spawned up first and foremost. The spitter looks to delay the survivors, but the hunter goes in and gets himself shut down mid-air. Only the charger remains. And he's going to go in early. He lands the connection, but he can't get the in-cap because he didn't charge from high enough. So unfortunately for him, that's going to be no in-cap. There is no smoker either for the separation or the hanging. There's only going to be a jockey in the hands of Team Z as they move forward.
Reloading.
Spitter, jockey, and a smoker followed by a hunter. There is no charger. There is a smoker spawned up behind the survivors. Good separation, hunter. Good interception. A good separation, smoker, excuse me. And a good interception, hunter. Decent interception, jockey as well. And the damage has been pretty good. I think Coach either needs to purposely in-cap himself or take his pain pills. He has chosen to take his pain pills. And the survivors are going to move forward here. Their health is not the greatest, but to be honest, making it on this map with good health is something that not even the greatest teams are capable of. It is so difficult. That actually could have been lethal there if that was a hang by that smoker. Unfortunately for the smoker, he couldn't get Ellis to hang there though. Boomer from above the survivors can't get the angle right though. Charger gets a good charge onto one survivor, takes him all the way back, but so far back that the spit cannot connect with him. That's an unfortunate result. It was a good charge, but the unfortunate reality of charges is that they travel all the way until they have to stop. And sometimes that takes you out of range of the spitter, which is... It happens sometimes. It is a bit annoying, but what can you do, really? Jockey, hunter, and a smoker with a boomer. There is no charger, but of course there is a smoker and a spitter. No, sorry, a smoker and a jockey. And both of those spawns there are very, very crucial here. Boomer goes for the vomit there, but can't actually land the vomit onto the survivors. Gonna get himself shut down for his troubles. That is a hunter pre-spawned above the survivors, jockey and smoker below the survivors to the right of them. Smoker pulls Nick there, but the tongue is cut very well by the bullet. The jockey is shut down as well. They still get the separation, but everything is dead though, and Coach, fortunately for them, is actually fast movement speed, not slow. Therefore, the time it will take him to reach back to the survivors is a lot less than it would have been had it been Rochelle who was down, for example. However, the charger goes for Rochelle, but will be shut down by the katana. Spitter, boomer, and their jockey in the hands of the special infected. We have 7 seconds remaining. There is a boomer above the survivors, gets a boom onto one survivor. Jockey moving for Nick in the front there. He is very much in the front, but the Uzi focus fire will clear him very easily. That's going to be a smoker and a spitter. The spitter can't make anything happen with the spit though. He spits into the pillar instead and can't get the delay. That's bad news for the spitter. And for some reason, Coach is jumping on the common infected, treating them like Mario mushrooms. But to be honest, you can actually do that, because believe it or not, if you jump onto a common infected's head, they do actually die immediately, so you literally can do that. That's going to be a good shutdown on the hunter. The survivors are just barely outside the safe room here. They are actually going to make it into the safe room as well. And, I mean, to be honest with you, it looks like they took a massive beating, and, well, that is because they did take a massive beating, but they made it to the safe room. And making it to the safe room on a map as unforgiving as this is something you have to admire. You can't help but admire it, because that crescendo, that roller coaster crescendo, is easily one of the most infamous and unforgiving crescendos in all of Left 4 Dead 2 combined. We are going to see an identical setup as before, as we always do. It is going to be that charger. Let's just see what that charger can pull off. The previous guys, Team Z, decided to send the charger from behind. However, these guys are choosing to send the charger from in front. Team A. Smoker is spawning up. Going to be looking to set something up for the charger, but he connects with the railing. The jockey is essentially skeeted there, and to be honest, that was a very good shutdown by Team Z, and they are actually going against their name here, because zzz is kind of one of those, I don't know what the terminology is for it, but essentially it means sleeping. But these guys are not sleeping right now. They are most certainly improving their reaction times, and, well, that's exactly what they need. Especially, again, they have killed the witch as well. That's going to award them an additional set of points, but that's a good charge spit combination onto a boomed survivor who is surrounded by common infected and a spitter. The smoker tries to pull him back into the spit, but he cannot do so. That would have been so much more lethal if he did so. But of course, speaking of lethal, look at the damage that Ellis has taken there, actually. Overall, Ellis has taken a beating, and of course they have not yet dealt with neither the tank nor the crescendo. Boomer, Jockey, and Hunter. Boomer from behind gets the boom onto one survivor. Hunter from behind as well. He's just kind of crouching around, being a nuisance. A good... Oh wow, what a charge actually. That's going to be a decent dual cap as well. Couldn't quite be a tri-cap. And unfortunately, the reason it couldn't be a tri-cap is because the hunt wasn't as synchronized as everybody else, but that was a very good charger. That was very good damage, and as you can see, Ellis is now on temporary HP, and the tank has only just spawned as well. These survivors do need to drop down, and they do indeed do so. Let's just see how they can play this tank, though. He's going to be looking for some curve rocks. That curve rock was so close to hitting Coach there. He wasn't actually aware of it. Another curve rock attempt isn't successful either, though. Tank in the hands of Clark, of whom is just... He's going to try his luck with the curve rocks. Sometimes they can be successful. Most of the time they're not, to be honest. He is doing them very well, though. I mean, good technique, of course, but the survivors are competent and they are aware of them. Tank is going to look for the first pin. Charger moves in. He actually gets shut down there. That was a very good instant clear. Separation smoker. Quad boom though. The tank is intercepting the smoker very well here. Body blocking exceptionally well. That's going to be several punches. Another onto Rochelle. That'll be an in cap. That's going to be more interception. 1k HP. He's continuing to land the punches. One more punch and it's goodbye curtains and all she wrote, etc. so on and so forth. For this round, I mean, we have one more chapter remaining, but my goodness, the point margin is nothing to ignore here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be moving into the fourth and final chapter here of Dark Carnival. 3,534 points in the hands of Team Anx versus 1,195 points in the hands of the currently trailing Team Z. Obviously, if you are Team Z, then you're not going to be happy with this result whatsoever, because, well, it's not quite 1,500 points, it's more like 1,300 points, give or take. It's not impossible, but there's a lot of work cut out for them. They have a lot of work to put in here. So let's just see if they have what it takes. Of course, they are against very competent, very strong opponents. Those very strong opponents being Anx, who are currently on the survivor side, and we'll be going live here in the as I say, the fourth and final chapter. Boomer is going to be looking for a spawn to the left of the survivors there, behind that lamppost structure. Patient gameplay so far from the survivors. Boomer does spawn up behind the lamppost, but they bait him and then shut him down. Salahadin's Boomer is unfortunately not successful. That's a jockey going to be spawning up with the Hunter. Spit moves in, but is shut down mid-air, and unfortunately the Hunter does end up landing, as does the jockey as well. So the Spitter could have actually combined with somebody there. Nonetheless, that is going to be some damage on the board, at the very least, onto Nick. Survivors are going to make their way into the bumper car area. Only a charger to speak of in the hands of Team Z, followed by a Boomer, Hunter, and a Spitter. A very good attack for an indoor choke point, actually, and the survivors are currently indoors, but they are just about to be outdoors now, and they've missed their opportunity. The rocket boom was a bit too obvious, to be honest there. 5 damage pounds, that's going to be a scratch onto him as well, with some Spits damage to follow. So overall, the damage inflicted onto Coach was okay, but it could have been more.
Weapons over here.
Survivors are going to have no difficulty moving forward here. To be honest, now that I think of it, Coach has actually taken some significant damage here. It is going to be a Rudley tank, going to be moving those dumpsters in. Rocket boom again. A bit too obvious, to be honest. Rocket booms from that location. Most people expect that these days. You need to come up with something a bit more original than that, because that kind of rocket boom location usually it's not going to work. Let's be honest. He is looking to make something happen with these dumpsters, though. This tank, this Rudley tank. Both of those dumpsters flying in different directions, one of which is on the roof above the survivors, though. So he can move that into position. Yeah, it is actually in position. Now it's down to what the Special Infected can make happen with their support. Good Magnum shutdown on the rock. Dumpster is moving. It's in a precarious position, but not for the survivors, for the Infected. He's looking for a punch onto somebody here, but he can't land anything. He's moving in for Nick in the bumper car area. That's a Hunter onto Coach there, but the Dumpster is not in a good position. He's trying to make something happen. It's flying way out of play. Well, not out of play, but it's flying basically out of play, to be honest. Tank is throwing a rock over the tent, but he can't make anything happen. He could even die here with as little as 0 punches and rocks. That's a curved rock attempt, and he can't make anything happen with it. He's completely surrounded, and unfortunately that is going to be the death of the tank with as little as 0 rocks and 0 punches, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be a shutdown on the Boomer as well, Mino's Boomer. So, very disappointing result for Team Z. Essentially, the further we go into this game, the more it is looking like Anks are going to be the victorious team in this installment. Of course, well, I mean, honestly, there's not really any other way to put it at this rate. They are absolutely steamrolling and showing themselves to be a very strong opposition here. That's going to be a Boomer attempting to land from below the survivors, but can't make it happen. Goes above and shuts himself down with the smoker. That's going to be a shutdown on the charger as well as the Spitter. Therefore, the survivors are going to make their way forward. I believe they have a an upcoming witch. Yes, they do indeed have an upcoming witch.
All right, weapon.
But I'm sure they are going to have no difficulty.
Reloading.
Then again, there is a such thing as Caster's Curse. So, you never know. There is a smoker behind the survivors, actually, looking for some separation, but gets himself shot down. They probably should have saved that smoker, to be honest with you, as well as that Boomer, even. But then again, they are behind by a significant amount, and I can imagine the lack of moralization is there. However, the jockey is straight into the witch, and the witch goes for Nick and gets the in-cap onto him, so that's going to deny them the bonus points. And that's going to be a cap onto Coach, who nearly actually goes down there as well. well played by the jockey, actually. The jockey was the MVP for that entire situation, managing to get an in-cap and so much damage as well onto Coach. That was essentially something out of nothing. That is going to be a boomer moving in onto Nick, landing onto him, so that's going to be a one-person boom. Charger, jockey, and a spitter is what the Special Infected have to capitalize off of the one-person boom should they choose to do so. Jockey is spawning up with the Charger. They're both going to be moving in unison here. That's going to be a successful Charger all the way in the distance. The Spit is going to connect, but only on the corner. The Common Infected will keep him in it, though, and they will keep him in it long enough for him to be in-capped. That is going to be a good in-cap as well. Good charge, good Spit combination. Survivors are going to be immediately attempting to revive their fellow partner. That fellow partner being Nick. However, it's onwards and upwards for the survivors. They have plenty enough pain pills, and I assume they're going to probably take them if they need to. Boomer from behind, good triple boom. That's a very quad boom, actually, including the proxy boom. That's going to be a quad boom. That's going to be the Hunter moving in. That's going to be a good shutdown on the Hunter. Separation jockey in the background. Coach is aware of it, but can he clear it, though? He's surrounded by Common Infected. He can't clear it before the in-cap. He himself is nearly in-capped as well, actually, and gets in-capped. Of course, it being a crescendo as well, the Common Infected, not infinitely, but finitely do trickle in. That is going to be a Smoker as well as a Spitter. The Spitter is going to look for the delay. He does actually get the delay. The Smoker remains as well. So they have plenty of potential to delay this get-up. That's essentially what it's going to come down to here. The Hunter is pouncing for a damage pounce. He can't get the damage pounce, though. He's on very low HP, going for another attempt, but he gets dead stopped, actually, and therefore shut down. Boomer gets a nice double boom. Is it enough to delay the survivors with the help of the Charger? Yeah, probably. That's going to be a single charge, though, not a double or triple charge. They are eventually going to revive their partner, and they are going to continue to move forward, but the damage they have taken has just been building up and up and up. Jockey, Smoker, and in 1 second will be accompanied with a Spit. Smoker is behind, going for a smoke onto Nick, but the tongue is cut. He's going to go for attempt number 2, but again, this time he gets the tongue. That's going to be a clear onto the jockeyed victim, but he's black and white. He ends up dying. That's going to be the death of Nick there, because he couldn't get out of the Spit in time. That's going to be a boom onto Coach, who is completely surrounded by Common Infected. He is in possession of pain pills, though, so he can take them if he needs to. Well, the survivors were in very good health up until that crescendo, and then the crescendo just absolutely obliterated their health bonus. That's going to be a dead stop onto the jockey, followed by the death of him. That's going to be the survivors making it into the safe room with a total point mountain of 4,179 points. And we are now going to be leading into the final half of the final chat. And yeah, that was a very unfortunate result for Team Anx, actually, because they could have made it with a very good health bonus there, but unfortunately, the pressure, the absolute relentless pressure coming out of Team Z, just annihilated them, basically. The pressure was relentless. It felt like there was one attack every 5 seconds, or every 2 seconds even. Boomer, Hunter, Spitter, and a jockey. It is going to be a Czech-wear tank, the man from Česká republika.
Reloading.
That Hunter is precariously pouncing around.
Reloading.
He's probably going to be looking for a 25 damage pounce here at this rate, by the way he's pouncing around and what he's looking at. Rocket boom onto 2 survivors there. Damage pounce attempt is moving in. Not going to be a damage pounce, though. It's going to be an interception instead. That separation jockey is devastating, and the damage itself is devastating as well. That's probably going to be an in-cap at this rate. With all the help of the common infected, that is indeed going to be an in-cap right off the bat of the first attack there. So there we have it already, the first attack, and we are already looking at an in-cap. Jockey, Boomer, and a Charger is going to be the setup as well that Team Anx have. Boomer goes from the hedge, gets a boom onto 2 survivors. That's a Hunter above the survivors as well. Charger is going to rocket spawn, gets the scratch and charge onto Coach, followed by the interception Hunter. The Jockey is going to go for Nick there. That's basically a tri-cap, to be honest with you, and a massively separating Jockey at that. Unfortunately for Coach, he is black and white as well, not to mention the separation Jockey that's currently going on in the distance there by the safe room. They don't even have time to go for him. They have to be careful of Coach here at this rate. There is a Spitter as well who's going to delay the get-up, and Rochelle chooses against reviving in the Spit. However, the Spit can jump down and further delay the get-up with some scratches. That is going to be an in-capped and boomed Nick, surrounded by common infected. That's going to be 2 survivors on 2 different areas of the map. So much is happening at once here, and, well, it ain't looking good for Team Z. Let's just put it like that. They managed to revive everybody. Nonetheless, that is a revival of all of the survivors. But they have consumed every single set of pain pills that they had coming out of the safe room, which of course is never good news, especially considering how little of the map they have progressed through. They are just barely at 0.25% of the map, as in 25%. Boomer gets a rocket boom onto 1 survivor. Charger follows in from the smoker with a Spit combination. That's going to be very significant damage onto Ellis. That's 1 more person, temporary HP. Only 1 person on Team Z is permanent HP there. So, I mean, in terms of the comeback, I mean, I'm sure we've all established well and truly by now that that's not possible. But these guys, nonetheless, are not going to go out dishonorably. They are going out with a fight. Ellis is very far behind, though. I'm not sure if they intend to go back or not for the tank. There's going to be a Boomer pre-spawned as well. Tank is going to spawn up in the hands of the man from Česká republika. Going to be using the dumpsters. Dumpster number 1 is unsuccessful. Dumpster number 2 is unsuccessful. Curve Rock is successful, though, and he's moving in. He's going to end up killing his fellow Boomer there. The dumpster can't quite land onto anybody. And he actually lands onto Coach, who was black and white, so that's an instant kill. Only 2 remain. The Hunter is pouncing around precariously. Final punch onto Rochelle. A few more punches will seal the deal here. 1 more punch and it will be GG. It is going to be GG's from us, ladies and gentlemen. 4,179 points in the hands of the victorious Team Anx. However, Team Z trailed behind and unfortunately for them have lost at 1,411 points. That is going to be it from us tonight, at least from myself, because I have my own tournament later, by the way, guys. So later tonight, be sure to tune in. It's going to be Kazakhstan, Russia versus Russia. But anyway, this has been the EazyOne tournament, 2 matches. I very much enjoyed commentating them. Thank you very much to everybody to tune in. And I will hopefully see you guys soon with some more of it. Thank you guys, GG's, and goodbye for now.